My name is John Passfield, and the title of this reading will be John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt Video 23, The Ballad of Santa Claus. So here's the cover, John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt, picture of me as a child. As writer John Passfield's driving home from a December book discussion meeting, I think about the Christmas topics that were discussed, in particular Dickens, who wrote a novella that transforms the world's conception of Christmas. He suddenly finds himself sitting in a sleigh, pulled by Rudolph and 8 tiny reindeer. What an excellent opportunity to ask Santa about a 70-year-old puzzle, the mystery of the missing cowboy shirt. The Ballad of Santa Claus is a layer of imagery in the mind of the main character. It appears in 4 chapters of thought, and there are 2 verses in each of those chapters. So I'll read them, and then I'll talk about the ballad as an image technique afterwards. So let's start with this. Chapter 3, page 22. Here we are, a verse. So 2 verses in each chapter of thought in the mind of the main character, John. Sitting here with my guitar, strumming idly and humming a tune. I think I'll call it a ballad. The Ballad of Santa Claus. Then we go over a few pages to this. When was Santa born? I can't read my own writing here, or my own printing, I guess. When was Santa born? Or was he created? Guess I'll have to check the facts. For sure, I'll call it the Ballad of Santa Claus. Okay, that's the first verse. Then we go to page 39. I'll find it here. And the ballad continues on. Have to look up Santa's origins. Does Christmas predate the birth of Christ? Must be plenty of facts I can process for my Ballad of Santa Claus. Then we go to page 43 for the second verse in this chapter. I had never heard of Krampus, Krampus. I had never heard of it when I attended that meeting. I had never heard of Krampus. At least I didn't know the name. I wonder if Krampus should figure in my Ballad of Santa Claus. Then we go to page 57. Was Santa born or was he created? That should be the opening verse in my Ballad of Santa Claus. Then to page 60. Here we are. Was Santa twinned with another creature? Do they grapple all over the world? Should these 2 be the mighty opposites in my Ballad of Santa Claus? And then the last verse, page 76, here it is. There are forces in the world. What is the force that duels with Santa? Should it grapple with Santa in my Ballad of Santa Claus? And then the last verse of this ballad is this. All of these myths have murky origins. Wouldn't want to just make it up. Better to do the dogged research for my Ballad of Santa Claus. So that's not really a ballad, eh? It's a sort of a pre-ballad. It's almost like a planning note for a ballad, eh? Like, what of all the many things that have been said about Santa Claus do you include? There's so many elements of the Santa Claus myth, eh? Some say he was born. Some tell you who his parents were, what country he was born. And others say, well, he wasn't born. He was created, and so on. So that's a pre-ballad rather than a ballad. Here's a note that I wrote for this video. For more than 20 years now, through the writing of 33 creative books, 29 novels, and 4 novellas, I've been developing techniques of image presentation. The ballad form of image presentation is one of the more recent techniques that I have developed. In fact, as late as my 27th novel, here it is, Eleanor Aduza, Let Me Have My Wings, I had not thought of, invented, devised this form of image presentation. As I was planning my Eleanor Aduza novel, I was wondering what to pair up with the dream nightmare imagery presentation technique, which I had developed quite a bit earlier. My standard novel form had evolved as a novel of 16 chapters. I saw the first and last chapters, chapters 1 and 16, as an introductory and a concluding chapter in each novel, and therefore as chapters which would not need some of the image techniques that I had devised. Having 14 inner chapters, though, meant that if I only used the dream nightmare image presentation technique in those chapters, I would need 14 dream nightmares per novel. This struck me as image technique overkill, as too many dream nightmares per novel. But I wasn't sure what to pair with that technique. In that novel, as a solution to the problem, I used 7 dream nightmares within the 14 inner chapters while alternating chapter by chapter what I called character dramas. Now, moving on. This worked well for that novel, but I wondered what to do in future novels, and for a while I wasn't sure what to use as an alternating image presentation technique. With this need in mind, though, I thought of the Ballad image presentation technique. And since the writing of my next novel, James McIntyre, The Mammoth Cheese, my 28th novel, I've alternated the image presentation techniques of the Dream Nightmare and the Ballad, with 7 chapters of each in the 14 inner chapters of the novel, and with 4 chapters of each in the 8 inner chapters of the novellas. Now, does this make the imagery of my novels and novellas mechanical? A response to a fill-in-the-blanks, lifeless image form? No. All of the imagery in my novels and novellas is thematic. If I were a mechanical writer, the imagery would be mechanical, but I am not. All of the imagery proceeds from the inner turmoil of the main character, from the consciousness-subconsciousness continuum of thought and emotion in the mind of the main character. That the image technique of the Ballad came about because I had a technical problem which I wish to solve is irrelevant in the writing of the subsequent novels and novellas, and is irrelevant in the reading of those same novels and novellas. Mechanical writers produce mechanical books. Creative writers produce creative books. So once again, this is my novella, John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt. There's more information on Amazon. Have a look. More information at roxmillspress.com. Have a look there. And 2 free books, as I've said more than once, a planning notebook and a journal. Just go to my website, johnpassville.ca, click on the icons, and there will be a book that you can read for free, all about all of the topics that come up when you read a little novella like John and Santa, the Cowboy Shirt. So thank you for watching this video.